The Barefoot Lawyer Reports on China invites you to check out the Center for Human Rights website at humanrights.catholic.edu. There you can find our latest episodes, articles about human rights in China, important events, and information about our annual essay contest for students. Go to humanrights.catholic.edu. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Barefoot Lawyer Reports on China. This is Will Deatherage, the producer. Joining me, as always, is Chen Guangcheng.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see you here again today.
Yeah, today we have some news coming out of Japan, actually. Guangcheng, can you explain what's going on?
Yes, the CCP's official in Japan, in Osaka. He is the general consulate.
For the listeners who don't know, a general consulate is basically the head of the embassy, right, Guangcheng?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He worked in the CCP's embassy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So Japan's prime minister said that an attack on Taiwan is an attack on Japan. So because she said that, of course we know she stands with democratic countries to protect democracy, right?
Yeah.
Then the CCP's official, the general consulate, he said we should cut off her head.
Right, and just to be clear, the rough translation of a post that Guangcheng shared, claims that the general consulate said that any head that sticks out will simply be cut off. That's one of the things that he's been saying things like that, right? So
Yes. Yeah.
Even if he meant it figuratively, of course, in Japanese culture, that's deeply offensive and a provocation, right, Guangcheng?
Yeah. A lot of Japan people stood up to oppose him and asked the government to deport him. And after that, he continued to see the same things about the U.S.
Right.
Yeah, so that is so evil, A lot of netizens online, not just Japan, even a lot of people live in Europe and the U.S., they ask Japanese government why still let him live in Japan. That is the CCP's wolf warrior diplomacy.
What does that mean?
That means the CCP's official, they are wolves.
Now, Guangcheng, can you tell us, when did this happen? When did the general consulate start making these statements?
Early November.
Okay,
early November.
Okay.
Of course, some people in Taiwan stood up to support the Prime Minister of Japan. Yeah, that proved the diplomacy is not normal diplomacy.
Right. And Guangcheng, you mentioned that this same guy is saying the same things about the United States as well, right?
Yes.
So, Guangcheng, have there been any consequences yet for that general consulate? Has he faced any consequences from the CCP or nothing so far?
I think he wants to use that way to get benefit from CCP.
He might actually be promoted or,
Yeah.
He will not be punished. Then.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Diplomats are supposed to be friendly to the countries that, they're in, right?
Yes, that is why they need diplomacy, right?
Right.
That is the CCP's role in the small country.
And Japan's not even that small, right?
Yes. But the CCP think they are strong.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, like you mentioned, Guangcheng, he's making statements like that about the United States, too. So, that's remarkable for a diplomat to say that.
Yes.
And you're saying that he might actually get rewarded by the Communist Party for saying those things, right?
Yes. The diplomacy officials should be very careful to say something.
Yeah.
Always try to show politeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was in mainland China, every time I went to Beijing, I make a plan to talk with the diplomatic officials from different countries. They always very nice, very friendly to me, They never say some bad word to me, So I don't understand the CCP's official.
Yeah, so has this happened before in other countries, Guangcheng? Have Chinese ambassadors said things in other countries like this, or?
I remember 2 years ago, some diplomacy said something like this in London.
Okay, yeah.
So
did they face any consequences or punishment, or?
No punishment. The CCP claimed their term expired and brought them back to China.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that the CCP's diplomacy has gotten more aggressive in the last few years? Like, have they become more wolf-like? More, how have you seen it change?
Yeah, they never change.
Yeah,
They
okay.
always do that. Of course, the content's different, but the mentality never changes.
Gotcha. So it's just been a staple of the CCP's diplomacy for a very long time, it sounds like, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so far there's been no consequences. What about the citizens of Japan? You mentioned that they were very upset. Do you know what they said or did?
I just know a lot of people stood up to ask Japan's government to deport him.
Mm-hmm.
And, they said that is not diplomacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is bullying or that is attack.
Yeah.
I don't understand Japanese, so
Sure.
I cannot get a lot of information. We talk about this here today. I just want our listener to focus on this, to use different way to try to get more information, to understand how evil the CCP in the whole world.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Were there any, as far as you know, were there any protests or anything, or has the Japanese government said anything that they'll try to deport the person? Have they responded at all, or nothing yet?
Yeah, some protests in California.
In California?
Yeah, but I don't know the detail. I think not so big.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know in Japan people protest or not.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you guys updated on, this story if anything transpires because of it. But Guangcheng, thank you very much for sharing this as an anecdote that illustrates China's wolf warrior diplomacy, as you call it. So thank you, Guangcheng, for sharing this with us.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, everyone.
The Center for Human Rights has published countless articles and reports on issues facing China, the US, and the world. Reports from late 2022 revealed the existence of secret Chinese police stations operating around the world, including in the United States, raising serious concerns about foreign intimidation. A detailed analysis from the Center for Human Rights examines documented cases in Europe and the US and reviews the legal frameworks that could help address this growing challenge. To read this report, go to our research and analysis page on humanrights.catholic.edu.